Did the bard smoke bud? Did Shakespeare get high spear?
What?
I don't know. A team of anthropologists have submitted a formal application to the Church of England for permission to dig up and forensically analyze one William Shakespeare. Shakesy's current dirt nap is under a local church in Stratford-upon-Avon, and the scientists seek to confirm, among other things, whether or not he enjoyed weed. I know we all know what that means, or I think we know. Back with us is Dr. Michael Baden, former New York City chief medical examiner, Fox News contributor, and Red Eye's very own death correspondent. Welcome back, Dr. B. I got to ask you first off, why the interest in weed? There's so many reasons to dig up a famous dead person. Why pot?
Well, this is the first I heard about Shakespeare and pot.
Yes.
40 years ago, when I was medical examiner in New York City, I was involved with a group of other scientists that requested exhuming Shakespeare, and went up to Queen Elizabeth, has to approve it, and she didn't approve it. But every 20 years this comes up. The reason the group had involved me was because there's been a long concern that he was poisoned by his son-in-law, a vintner. The poison in those days was arsenic, and the issue was, can you find arsenic 500 years later? And the answer is yes. Arsenic just stays there. So if he were exhumed, it would test him for arsenic, and arsenic's around. The casket, his casket, is not underground. It's in the church itself, in a marble container there. And on the top it says, "Cursed be he who moves my bones." The idea is they were concerned in those days of people grave robbing.
He was a pretty demanding jerk. I mean, after his own death. Don't move me. What if they got to build a condo there?
But the most amazing thing is his signature is the most valuable of all signatures and collectors. There are only about 4 documents that have his signatures. None of his plays exist. He wrote out all of his plays.
Allegedly.
I would accept it, but I'm not an expert on Marlowe or whatever it is. However, the reason none of the plays' handwriting exists is because he dies in 1616. In the 1620s, Gutenberg comes along and puts it all on type, the first folio. And they say, we got it all on type. What the hell do we need these written documents? And they destroyed all the written plays.
And then there were the whole Police Academy movies that he was in.
Which he ruined his own reputation.
Yes, he did. He did. Although I have to say, The Bedroom Window, underrated.
Three Men and a Little Lady, The Godfather 2 of baby sequels.
What does his body look like right now?
Well, because it was indoors, and the rainwater couldn't get at it. He probably still has some skeletal remains. The tissues and soft tissues will be gone, but there still might be, Yorick skull and some other things around.
So wait, do they? What would be with him? What do they keep with him? And what would you estimate the worth of that corpse? It's got to be.
Shakespeare would. His autograph is estimated at $5 million. The corpse, if it could be identified. But there'd be no way of doing it. You see, If we exhumed Jack the Ripper's, any of his victims, and if Queen Victoria's son or nephew was Jack the Ripper, as has been postulated by some, his DNA could be identified from potentially from the victims of Jack the Ripper who were sexually assaulted.
Are there any famous people who are dead that you want to dig up? Like, if you had your top 5, like a lot of people say, who would you like to have dinner with? But that's boring. I want to know, who would you like to dig up?
The one, Shakespeare's number 1, actually, of mine. And number 2 would be the Jack the Ripper victims, because we might be able to solve that murder. Patricia Cornwell tried to do it by licking the envelopes on the
from hell letter
on the letters on the letters to the newspapers and all. But if you can get any of the victims, you might be able to get DNA as who the rapist is. Even a long shot, but it'd be a worthwhile shot. Another one that's been I'd like to do is Columbus, because Columbus has some interest. The only problem
he just died.
1490.
Wait, Chris Columbus, the director?
No, I was thinking of Columbo.
Oh.
Sorry.
No, not Columbo. Columbus. And the problem with Columbus is they've got about 3 or 4 different places where he's supposedly buried.
He was a jerk, though, wasn't he?
Well, turns out he was a big hero when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and then he turned out to be he persecuted the Indians or something. So,
No, Greg doesn't care about that.
Yeah, I heard he was just a jerk to other people. So how do you? Okay, I got one more question. How do you get how do you get approval? So it's 2 questions. How do you get approval to get somebody out of the ground, and why can't you sell? Like if you contacted the relative of Shakespeare, could you buy the body? Is there a relative of Shakespeare? No, there's no relatives.
Because his daughter with the vintner didn't have any children, and he had no offspring. There's no relatives to him. But if we wanted to exhume anybody else, if there's a direct relative, the relative gives approval, one can do the exhumation. All right. Can you sell off the body parts? Probably different in different states.
Yeah.
I wonder if someday someone will want to dig up William Shakespeare.
I don't know.
William Schultz.
You have my permission, future anthropologist.
But you have a very distinctive skull I could see under there.
Yeah. It's riddled with booze.
Can you?
With weed.
You know, that's an interesting. I don't want to take a break yet. Can you tell what somebody's skull's like when they're alive? Can you see a skull?
I could get an idea of the skull.
Is that freaky?
But what they do after death, there are means now when you take a skull, you can superimpose tissues and try to make it look like a real person, except you never can get the hair right.
I've got a knife.
No one will ever get this hair
I've got a knife. If you predict it, let's find out.
Can I at least get some painkillers?
No. All right, we're going to take a break. Thank you, Dr. Bodden. Always a pleasure having you on the show. We're going to have more stuff when we come back. Boy, that's a vague tease.